Hi, I'm Juliette Ferguson with Sotheby's International Realty here today in Carmel, California, and I'm honored to have Steve Vagnini, our county assessor and clerk recorder for Monterey County here today to discuss a few things. We were going to talk about Prop 58.
Prop 58 is a good starting point.
Yep.
Prop 58 is one of the laws that was passed after Proposition 13 was passed.
Mm-hmm.
And what Prop 58 primarily does, when a person can transfer to their children their property
Mm-hmm.
and avoid a reassessment. And there's obviously limitations to that,
Mm-hmm.
but the basics of Prop 58 is that I can transfer to my child my principal residence,
Okay.
and it will not be reassessed.
Principal residence only.
Principal residence, well, not only, but
Okay.
the principal residence can be transferred to your children
Mm-hmm.
without being reassessed. And in addition to that, you can transfer additional property up to $1 million. When I say $1 million, it's not what the market value is. So if you were to own a house and you wanted to transfer to your child your principal residence, you could transfer that home. Plus, if you owned 10 other properties, all in areas that you had owned for many, many years, and those houses have assessed valuations of under $100,000,
Wow.
you could transfer all 10 of those homes. They would not be reassessed.
Okay,
Of
so
course,
up to $1 million,
$1 million.
any number of homes?
Up to $1 million. And of course, the significance of this is if we've owned property for a long period of time, you have very low base year values.
Mhm.
Base year values are like gold, because you know, if you've owned a home for 20 years, you're paying taxes on what you bought it for
Correct.
20 years ago, except it goes up to 2% a year. There's an inflation factor which increases the assessed valuation. But as you know, the market has gone up way more than 2% every
Of
year.
course.
You know, 10 to 20%
Yes.
some years. So, we track those values. Now, one point is you don't always necessarily want to take advantage of a Prop 58. If somebody dies, and usually when property is transferred to their children, it's upon death.
And in
that's
a
when
trust,
you
right.
fill out what we call a Prop 58 exclusion form.
Okay.
And sometimes when a property may be, as you know, you may have bought a house 10 years ago in 2009 at the top of the market.
Right.
And then the market value declined. And during that period of time, we lowered people's values
Exactly.
under
Thank you for
Proposition
that.
8. So the value may be, when you die, may be less than the base year value. So in that case, you would not take advantage of the Prop 58.
Good point.
So, and that's one thing they talk about. And all this information is all on our website. It's, if you have specific questions, it's on our website. There's also a lot of great information on the State Board of Equalization's website.
Okay, and we will add your website and the State Board of Equalization on our blog with this video.
And no matter what I tell you, there's always going to be other questions that
Of
people
course.
have. Now, if a child, if both your children have passed away, you know, in tragedy, of course, but your grandchildren are still living, you can transfer your base year value to your grandchildren.
Okay.
Only if your children are not alive.
Okay.
And I believe that's Proposition 193 as opposed to Proposition 58.
Okay.
So it's a tremendous benefit to be able to transfer your base year value to your children. It's very simple. The key is work with our office. We're there to help you, walk you through the application process. It's all of our exclusion forms are on our website, so you can download the applications from our website, and most of it's basic. You need to know the assessor's parcel number, when you purchase the property, you know, you have to give certain information and swear under penalty of perjury certain things.
Okay.
And if you own property in other counties as well, it's all encompassing. So what we'll find out with the use of a social security number, if you're transferring properties in other counties as well.
Okay, so it can be any county.
Yeah, it can't be any county, it's a statewide law,
Okay.
but the $1 million applies to properties that you hold throughout the state of California. So
Okay.
bottom line, if you have any questions, feel free to call our office and we'll be glad to help you take advantage of this very nice benefit.
It's a wonderful benefit. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome.